So, as some of you may know, Nintendo is quickly approaching the launch date of the brand new Nintendo Switch 2 system, and oh my, I genuinely cannot wait. We've seen so much direct feed footage lately, a ton of impressions, and all of it is just wowing everybody. I mean, the promised performance capabilities of the new handheld console hybrid is insane, boasting the potential baseline of 4K 60 for new titles with optional performance modes that could go all the way up to 120. I mean, just look at Cyberpunk 2077. That game is looking crazy good. And I mean, this general launch is firmly placing Nintendo in the next generation, and I'm so glad that we don't have to wait that much longer to get our hands on it ourselves. So naturally, as I started seeing all this new footage for different games for the Switch 2, it got me thinking about our dear friend Sonic the Hedgehog and how good Sonic could potentially look on the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, taking a look at current Sonic on current next-gen systems gives us a good reference of what we could potentially expect on Nintendo Switch 2. Recent Sonic titles such as Sonic X Shadow Generations, that's a bit of a tongue twister, and Sonic Frontiers both release cross-platform, including on PC. And because Sonic is so fast, the higher frame rates and visual fidelity provided by these platforms really enhances the overall experience in comparison to the game's Switch 1 counterparts. And this is because the player is able to see the game more clearly, which really helps with given how fast Sonic is and all his breakneck high action speeds, you know? And on the Switch 1, while 720p and 30 FPS was playable, you do immediately notice the benefits of better hardware whenever you're watching gameplay or you actually get to play it for yourself. And all this to say, if we use PC hardware, or more comparably I would say PS5, PS4 Pro, there is clear evidence that Sonic and 4K were truly meant to be. So being able to have that in the near future on the Nintendo Switch 2, having it as a portable and docked experience, is just going to be so cool. It's going to bring what we love about the Nintendo Switch and combine that with 4K Sonic, and I think it could be really amazing. If Sega really locks in too, we can have something similar to Metroid Prime 4. We could have quality and performance modes. Metroid Prime 4 performance mode is promising a smooth 120 frames per second or a crystal clear 4K 60 FPS. I mean, it would truly be a win-win for Nintendo Switch 2 users who are also fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. And not only that, but this will also likely make development for Sonic Team just easier overall. Sonic Frontiers notably experienced some significant drawbacks or poor optimization, I guess you could say, across all platforms when it came to its pop-in problems. It's speculated that this was likely because of the Nintendo Switch 1 and its lesser hardware, since Sonic Team had to make sure that the game ran on the underpowered hardware and was still the same overall experience across all platforms. But now that the Nintendo Switch 2 is comparable to a PS4 Pro or a PS5 again, my hope is that Sonic Team won't have to have any more limitations so that their ambitions could truly be realized when it comes to developing the next mainline Sonic game, which we have heard rumors that they are already working on. So, and we actually do have a bit of a reference point for what this could look like thanks to some dedicated Sonic fans that have developed no pop-in mods for Sonic Frontiers that work on certain PCs. And just a few minutes of gameplay will show you how much better Sonic Frontiers would have been if the game also looked like this. Mind you, I really liked Sonic Frontiers, but that pop-in was really a hindrance on exploration, I would say, and it kind of makes going back to replay the game a little less than ideal, but again, I really love the game, but that definitely would just have taken it to the next level. And then more tangibly speaking, Sega confirmed recently that they're working on a Switch 2 version of Sonic X Shadow Gens. And oh man, I mean, it's really exciting because on PS5 and PC, the game just looks and runs so well, especially again in comparison to the Switch 1 version. So to get that same experience on a next-gen Nintendo system is going to be very exciting. It might be a day one pickup for me. I never got it for the Switch 1. I played it on PlayStation, so it could be a very good day one pickup. I believe it's coming out on launch day. Could be wrong about that, but yeah. And since we got a confirmed Switch 2 version of Sonic X Shadow Generations, it's within reason to assume that Sonic's next big title, and probably the main big title for this year, Team Sonic I gotta get that out of my head. Sonic Racing Crossworlds will also launch on the Nintendo Switch. And recent previews of the game, I actually got to play an early preview myself. I might link that video somewhere here. But anyways, it on PS5 showed that the visuals are vibrant and clean. So to be able to have that on the Switch 2, again, understanding that the Switch 2 is at least at a PS4 Pro in terms of, like for comparison's sake, not really comparing like raw numbers, but just given the DLSS and what it can produce, we can easily like reason like it's gonna look pretty similar to that, if not better. And I mean, Sonic Racing Crossworlds already with some polish, I think is gonna look really great. So I'm very excited to see what a potential Nintendo Switch 2 version would look like for that game. And now this next point is really interesting because it has to do with something that's not really official. I mean, it's not really official, it's not official. And that's the recent release of Sonic Unleashed Recompiled on PC and macOS. Sonic Unleashed Recompiled, for those of you who may not know, is a fan project that in short is a complete remaster of Sonic Unleashed from the 360 and PS3. Of course, given its fan project status, I understand that Unleashed Recompiled as it is would never directly make its way to the Switch 2, but it does give us a good understanding of how amazing an official Sonic Unleashed remaster could look on the system. The team behind the recompilation project was able to provide performance settings that let the game run, you know, at a beautiful 1440p, 120 FPS if your PC allowed for it. So, I mean, again, based on what we've seen from the Switch 2, while I don't think it's gonna, it won't hit that like those heights, just being able to be upscaled into 4K and still running at a 60 FPS. And there's no doubt that an official remaster of my favorite game, my favorite Sonic game, I should say, Sonic Unleashed for Switch 2, would just be amazing overall, visually speaking. You know, just I love the game. Anytime I get to gush about Unleashed, I will. But yeah, just given the Switch's promised specs and what we've seen, it's gonna be very exciting. This logic, of course, applies to any potential future remaster that makes its way to the Nintendo Switch 2. There is that rumored Sonic Heroes 2 remake that could be happening within the next year or so. So assuming Sonic Team is using Hedgehog Engine 2 or a brand new engine that they could potentially be developing to recreate the physics of the original Sonic Heroes, I think, you know, obviously from a visual standpoint, it's just going to be stand out. So that could look really amazing. Again, I'm just kind of reiterating the same thing, but this is really overall just kind of thinking about what the Switch 2 could bring to the table. And again, with the Sonic Heroes remake, it just would look amazing, and I would love to have that on Nintendo hardware. And I think Sonic fans and Nintendo fans would also really appreciate seeing that on some Nintendo hardware. So again, that could really be for any Sonic remaster, whatever game they decide to bring onto current gen hardware. Assuming they do multi-plat releases, which they've been doing, that we saw it with the Sonic Colors remake or remaster, it's genuinely going to be really exciting to see what potential remasters could make their way to the Switch 2. And just, oh, I can't even like put words together. It's just going to look so good. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. And lastly, this one's another, you know, potential pipe dream, but Nintendo did confirm that Gamecube games are making their way onto the Nintendo Switch Online service. So please, Sega, Nintendo, I need y'all to collab again and bring the adventure games and the OG Sonic Riders to Switch Online, please. Oh, because we know that they're upscaling all the Switch Online titles to be in 4K. So just knowing how well those games run and how good they look on something like Dolphin, for example, just being able to have that in like a you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be so cool, just casually being able to boot up Sonic Riders on your Switch 2 or Adventure 1, Adventure 2, right? Like, it's not impossible either, because Sega and Nintendo have collabed already before with putting the Sega Genesis titles on Nintendo Switch Online. And, you know, their partnership is like, they have a good relationship, and I think if they really wanted to, they could make it work. That's all I'm saying. Don't tell me you wouldn't want Sonic Riders or Sonic Adventure 2 on NSO in 4K just to be, it would be so perfect. It would be so perfect, but we'll have to see. We'll genuinely have to see on that one. That one's more, we'll see. Yeah, but yeah, that was just, you know, those were just some of the thoughts I've been having recently on how amazing Sonic games could look and run on the Nintendo Switch 2, and just, you know, what potential games we could see on the Nintendo Switch 2 system in the very near future. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to be able to put together more videos in the future regarding Sonic and just Nintendo in general. So if you guys did enjoy, feel free to drop a like and a comment, sub maybe, up to y'all. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. So I hope you have a good one. Peace. They really pushed this ship. Sanemi fans were they were eating good in Frontier.